Hi Leo, welcome to your December forecast for 2023. This month is a little bit all over the place. It's scattered. I keep saying it's a mixed bag because we're going to be having a lot of miscommunication. There's going to be a lot of people being loud and wrong across the board. There is some excitement though. There's some good luck days that we can kind of keep an eye on. And I think that by the end of the month, whatever is very frustrating and confusing sort of starts to sort itself out. So I'm going to be looking at the notes on my phone. I'm sorry if you see my phone in the shot or you see me looking over here. It's just because my laptop is not cooperating with me right now, despite the fact that I just bought it, and that is very Mercury retrograde. But let's get into it. On the first, Mercury, the planet of communication, speaking, talking, writing, using your voice, really what you're talking about, who you're talking about it with, and the details of the things that you're thinking, feeling, and communicating to other people is going to go into your sixth house. So the sixth house is work, health, routine, lifestyle, productivity, pets, your everyday life. It's what time you get up in the morning. It's the food that you eat. It's the time that you go to bed. It's the way that you take care of yourself. It's the labor that is required for your job. Having Mercury enter here can add a lot of stimulation to this area of the chart. Maybe you're talking about these themes more. Maybe you're becoming a little bit more active with it. Maybe you're, speaking about it with friends more. Maybe you're going to the doctor and talking about something. Maybe there's a lot of conversations happening at work about new plans that you have coming into the new year. There's going to be a lot of attention on efforts, helping other people, how you pour into other people, again, your work, your health, your lifestyle, etc. On the third, Venus in your third house, before it ingresses into your fourth house, is going to create a very intense square to Pluto in your sixth house. So Venus is the planet of love, money, beauty, pleasure, indulgence, temptation. It's the very much frivolous enjoyments of life. It is pleasure, it is ease, it's things that typically feel good on a very surface level. Having that square Pluto, which has a lot to do with personal transformation, a death and rebirth process, profound truth, where things need to be changed on a very core level. Having a square between your third house and your sixth house is putting a lot of emphasis on the way that you think about things and how that applies to, again, the way that you execute your everyday life, your habits, your routines, the way that you have been doing things in your entire life up until this point. So to have a square between the two is very much about mind and body and those two things connecting, as well as habits and why those habits exist to begin with. Venus going through the third house is which has been going on for you in November, bringing a lot of ease and pleasure and enjoyment to everything that's familiar to you, your everyday friends, environments, the things that you think, your social media, the books that you read, the things that you listen to, your podcasts, the movies you watch, the way that you express yourself, etc. So having Venus go through this area of the chart is bringing a lot of ease to it, but having that square to Pluto is saying that there's a very intense moment or a piece of information or conversation or thing that is exchanged between you and maybe a boss or a coworker or a doctor or something that has to do with those sixth house themes that maybe creates an opportunity for you to make an important decision, have an important conversation, or there's just something that needs to be accepted here that can be a little bit intense. So this can even be tension between everyday habits, routines, people, transformation and transportation. So even things like your car and how your car or the route that you take to work is something that, could be very intense for whatever reason right now. It's siblings, it's short trips, it is your health, your routine, again, your productivity, your pets, your coworkers, efforts, all of those things are coming to a little bit of an intense head-to-head here for some reason. On the 4th, Venus enters your 4th house of home, family, foundation, private life, property, and your living situation. So Venus is going to take the ease from that 3rd house and now bring it and sprinkle that warmth and coziness into your living situation, your private life, the way that you're getting along with your family, how you feel with yourself at your core, your inner child. Having Venus go through the 4th house can look like anything like renovating your home. Maybe you're decorating it for Christmas. Maybe there's some sort of ease or pleasure when it comes to real estate, like actually investing in a home, taking out a mortgage, maybe having your person that you're dating and introducing them to your family for the holidays for the first time, or there just being a very good sort of balance between your romantic endeavors and your familial endeavors and those things overlapping in a very positive way. On the 5th, Venus in your 4th house is going to be in a very supportive aspect to, it's going to be in a trine to Saturn in your 8th house. So I actually love this. It looks like things regarding how you overlap with other people or other establishments or institutions financially are supporting your living situation, your home or your family or your roots. So there's something here where I feel like Leo risings might be having something with property or living situation that's actually going quite positively right now. Again, taking out a mortgage, anything where you're moving in with a partner, there's something where things that overlap you and other people or other things that you invest into are kind of supporting your home base, supporting that private life. So this is really good with financial dealings, or if it's more like spiritual and esoteric, this is your internal world and your ability to trust people and your ability to be intimate and sort of let people in and have that personal transformative process going very favorably for you right now. Going very favorably for you right now. So the reason that this is such a good aspect is because Venus, again, is things that feel good, and Saturn is like discipline, responsibility, authority, and needing to do things the right way. So to have a supportive aspect between the two of them, it has a lot to do with like hard work paying off, or maturity being something that you get to celebrate now, or being able to see how you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor because you put so much effort into something, and it's overlapping complicated finances like loans, taxes, mortgages, how you invest in other people, your intimacy with other people, the trust with other people, and the merging of investments, both literally and energetically or metaphorically, or assets now supporting something that has to do with your home, family, private life, or like your internal world. On the 7th, Neptune is going to station direct in your 8th house. So it's been retrograde since June 30th of this year. Neptune is very dreamy. It's deceptive. It's spiritual. It's beautiful. It's cathartic. It's intoxicating. It's creative. But sometimes it can be very manipulative and very confusing and deceptive and give us a lot of brain fog. And typically when it's in that retrograde cycle, it can feel like you're not thinking entirely too clearly, or you're just sort of having clouded vision, or even like a lack of energy, being quite lazy in the way that you're approaching things into your 8th house. So again, the 8th house has a lot to do with complicated finances. It's basically less about taking out, borrowing $20 from your friends, and more about something like a will, an estate, an inheritance, being in a trust, taking out a loan, paying off your taxes, having debt, paying off that debt, how you have a marriage contract and then you take on their assets and they take on yours, and the agreement or disagreement between those themes. So to have Neptune here, there could have been what was an up in the air or miscommunication or a lack of clarity sort of vibe since the summer. And that seems to become a little bit more clearer now, where there's something undeniable that we have to accept the reality of within these themes. This can be, again, with shared finances, death, personal transformation, and trust. On the 10th, Venus in your 4th house is going to be opposite Jupiter in your 10th house. So this is really good and beneficial. This is one of those days of good luck because we're seeing both benefics, both Venus, which is love, money, beauty, pleasure, indulgence, temptation, and things that feel good. And then Jupiter being good luck, good fortune, expansion, opportunities, traveling, faith, philosophy, giving you a little bit more room and freedom to spread your wings, is going to be in a very supportive aspect between your private life and your public life. So your home, family, your living situation, where you come from, your roots, your ancestry, your real estate, the actual home that you live in, and then your 10th house of your career, your public image, your reputation, your independence, and the way that the public is seeing you. So there could be something here, because it's your angular houses, the most intimate and foundational areas of the charts, like the skeleton of your life, your home, and then your career, and how those two things heavily rely on each other to be successful. Having a very beneficial aspect between the two can be support from family with something that has to do with your career or like a public accomplishment. It can be your private and public life are just very much in harmony right now, or even something very celebratory where you're just celebrating the fact that you've kind of created more stability in your life. You just bought your first house, or you just got a major promotion, or there's something where you have the white picket fence and you're doing amazing in the workplace. Like everything seems to be very harmonious for you in these two areas of the houses right now, of the chart right now. On the 12th, there's going to be a new moon in your 5th house. So you're one of those people that I would say has the pregnancy radar, whether that be very beautiful for you or very horrifying. It's something to keep an eye out for in the middle of the month. A new moon is usually going to be a new beginning, a new chapter starting, a new conception of opening the door to something new, at least for the next 2 weeks, but usually over the next 6 months. And this is going to be in your 5th house of love, sex, romance, children, pregnancy, things that feel good, things that are enjoyable, creative endeavors, and generally just having fun and enjoying yourself. So having a new moon here invites you to be a little bit more selfish, and it also says, okay, there might be a new chapter here in regards to a romantic connection, or in regards to a passion project, or in regards to something that is just generally fun. Maybe you're being more social, maybe you're hanging out with friends more. It's December, we're in the middle of the holidays, so there can just be a general sense of joy happening for you here. You might even be one of the people that feels like you're walking on sunshine a little bit, because there is an aspect to Neptune that's going to be activated. So I would just say tread lightly if you feel like something is too good to be true, or you're romanticizing something to be something that it's not, or being too overly optimistic. However, I think that this is going to be more beneficial for you, then it would be something complicated. It is going to have some, contact, I would say, with Neptune going through your 8th house again. So there is this idea of sex, trust, intimacy, truth, and investments that are shared with other people that's relevant to this new moon as well. On the 13th, Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde in your 6th house. So Mercury, again, being communication, attention to detail, and where we're having that stimulation in the area of your chart that has to do with your everyday life, your routines, the very mundane, maybe boring, overlooked details, but that are very necessary to run a well-oiled machine of your life. Having Mercury station retrograde here can be very frustrating and just bring a sense of setbacks, delays, or reconsideration to your health, to things like going to the doctor, your appointments, your routines. It doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world. For some people, you might just be revisiting like an old goal. Maybe this is like you were going to the gym for months and then you fell off one weekend and then you never went back. And now you're like, let me start implicating this part of my routine back into my life again. It can be that something that you put on the back burner for work needs to be now resurfaced or sort of rehashed out and needs to, requires a little bit of your productivity before the holiday season. It can be that there can be issues with pets, with your work, with your routine. Again, all of these things that are typically very mundane details of our life, but now getting a little bit frazzled or sort of needing to approach them with a sense of, okay, I need to hone in and focus on this so I can get clear on it. So anything regarding those themes of your life this month, earlier in the month, they might not be too complicated, but I would be careful with making any serious, permanent decisions or commitments that you can't go back on or decisions that you can't retrace your steps on, because it's likely to change on and off throughout the month. On the 22nd, on the 17th, we have the sun in your 5th house. So again, love, sex, romance, creativity, pregnancy, children, things that feel good, in a square to Neptune in your 8th house. So again, this is this idea of that new moon on the 12th was a new beginning in this area of your chart. Oh my God, there's something exciting starting here. There's a new chapter starting here. This is something new that I'm excited about that feels good. But by the 17th, there's a square between that area of your chart. And then again, this Neptunian influence of deception, lack of clarity, missing information, something not being entirely true or slightly manipulative or trickery. And again, and if it's not malicious, there's just something that people were not seeing eye to eye on, not seeing clearly on. There was a huge misunderstanding or something that wasn't entirely accurate between your romantic and creative and things that make you happy energy, and then the 8th house of money and investments, energetic investments, trust, accuracy, truth, personal transformation, the ability to let go of something, and having this sort of disagreement, I guess you could say, or friction between these two areas of the chart. I would really invite you to trust your gut when it comes to romantic or financial endeavors, especially when you are going off of just trust, instead of a contractual written agreement to two people or things, holding up their end of the deal. You want to be careful with just taking somebody's word for something right now, even if it's the person that you're dating or the person that you're sleeping with. So especially for those that are focused on pleasure, pregnancy, children, and finances, things like that right now, you want to sort of lean more into what you know to be objectively true rather than just being optimistic and crossing your fingers and hoping something in this area of your chart works out. On the 22nd, the sun is going to enter your 6th house. So we had Mercury enter here at the beginning of the month, which brought that attention to detail, conversations around this area of the chart. And now you're having the sun enter here. So we've already had that mental stimulation and cerebral energy, this attention where we're kind of thinking and talking about those 6th house themes of work, health, routine, etc. And now that the sun is here, there's an extra focus. There's an illumination. There's a warmth. There's a tension. There's a spotlight on this area of the chart. You deal with this every single year. It's nothing rare. Having the sun go through your 6th house is something you deal with on a yearly basis. But now having that Mercury retrograde energy in the air, again, it's likely to be the focal point because there's some changes or things sort of being susceptible to change in this area of the chart. So on the 23rd, the next day, Mercury retrograde is going to go from your 6th house back into your 5th house. So it's still retrograde and it's going to be retracing its steps and saying, okay, if we want to make actual progress in the 6th house, in your work, health, routines, lifestyles, etc., we need to revisit something in the 5th house because there's something else we need to learn, something that we missed on the way, something that needs to be, talked out and clarified in order to actually have sufficient progress moving forward. So there's something that you might be hitting a roadblock with that 6th house that is because of something that's happening in the 5th house, which is love, sex, romance, pregnancy, etc. Anything that you've been having symptoms with that have been confusing with your 6th house of why do I have headaches all the time? Why am I nauseous all the time? Why am I gaining all this weight all of a sudden? Oh, it's because I slept with somebody 6 weeks ago and now I'm realizing I missed my period. It could be something like that. It could be something with reproductive health. It could be something with surgery. It could be something, I'm only talking about health right now, but even if there's work issues, it might be that, okay, maybe you're starting to fall off a little bit in progress with work because you just started dating somebody and you're realizing that you're really distracted because your focus has been on that and it's been getting in the way of your ability to stay on top of your goals. Maybe you're missing out on, your fitness goals or routines or something like that because you've been super social this month, everybody's home, it's the holidays, and you've been drinking every weekend, and now that's setting you back in terms of your weight loss journey. All of those things are sort of relevant here. It's saying in order to find more success and move forward more smoothly in this area of the chart with your work, your health, your routine, there's something that needs to be acknowledged and sort of revisited when it comes to love, sex, romance, happiness, indulgence, and creativity. On the 25th, or something with your job too, your work, but we kind of touched on that. On the 25th, this is the other really lucky day, right on Christmas. Venus in your 4th house is going to be supportive of Neptune in your 8th house. So this is really great for emotional and expansive support between home, family, living situation, and shared investments or metaphorical death, endings, and rebirths. So there might be something here where you just have a very spiritual Christmas this year where you're getting in touch with your family, you're having a lot of ease with them, the home looks nice, you feel comfortable in your living situation. There's a lot of security happening at the home base or in your private life, and having that supportive aspect to Neptune in your 8th house is saying like there's what is this almost like spiritual breakthrough or cathartic feeling with this feels so good because I finally let go of the past, or this is going so well because I'm having financial support from my partner that we're now sharing assets, or this feels so good because I'm getting closer to my family, and despite the fact that somebody in our family just passed away, it's bringing us closer. Like those are the sort of overlaps of themes that we can see here. On the 27th, there's going to be a full moon in Cancer in your 12th house. So this is going to be an ending or a full circle moment or a closing of a chapter, tying up of loose ends in regards to your psyche, your mental health, your spirituality, everything that you maybe can't see or touch, but that's more metaphysical and spiritual. It's everything that's going on in here, and maybe not necessarily seeing physical changes. It's loneliness, it's isolation, it's mental health, it's addictions, it's escapism, it's therapy, it's healing, it's letting go. It's anything that really has to do with the experiences that we're having in terms of our psychology and our spirituality and our faith. So having a full circle moment here, having a full moon here, it's going to bring a call back to July 17th of this year where there was a new moon. So something that you began or that started or was first initially conceived back in the middle of the summer, the beginning of the summer, is now coming full circle for you here. So maybe back then you started to get into spirituality or astrology or faith or something, and now you feel really concrete and cemented in those beliefs. Maybe there was something where you started therapy back then, and now you're really starting to see those breakthroughs. Maybe there's something where you found out a secret back then, and it's helped you kind of come to this acceptance of finally letting go of something. It's going to be at 4 degrees, which is a Cancer degree as well. So it's really doubling down on these themes of home, family, living situation, roots, generational things, ancestry, where you come from, your initial foundation, mom, emotions, motherhood, maternal energy, things like that as well. On the 27th, so on that same day, Chiron is going to station direct in your 10th house of your career, your public image, your independence, your success, and this is going to be a callback to July 23rd. So anything that was kind of going on for you around July is now culminating, is now coming full circle. We're seeing the results of it in a more public or personal way. So Chiron is it's not a planet, it's an asteroid, but it has a lot to do with sensitivities and wounds and triggers, and where there's maybe some unresolved feelings or pain. And to have it station retrograde can be different for everybody, but I would say sometimes it has this effect of putting pain on the back burner where we no longer allow it to get in the way of the decisions that we know that we need to make. And for other people, it can just be where it's a period of a lot of self-reflection, and while it does sting and hurt a little bit, we know that it's beneficial to our personal development. So you having this station direct into your 10th, or I'm sorry, not into your 10th house, into your, where's Aries in your chart? That's Taurus, into your 9th house of traveling, faith, philosophy, education, beliefs, your general understanding of how the world works based off of your own personal experiences. I think that there's something where your faith is healing, or your belief in yourself, or it could be more literal. Like maybe there's something where you've been having issues seeing family members or someone that you're dating because of like traveling distance, or maybe there's something where you've been struggling in your ability to identify your goals on a big level because you've been having issues with your schooling, things like that. But I would say that probably on a more spiritual, esoteric level, it has to do with your belief system and your faith in yourself. On the 28th, Mercury retrograde in your 5th house is going to be conjunct Mars and square Neptune in your 9th house. So this is the day that I'm telling everybody to look, keep an eye out for, especially like politically across the board. I think it's going to be a day where everyone's, this is where I say very loud and very wrong, because Mercury is already in a condition where it's not functioning too comfortably. It's in a retrograde period cycle, so it's already not operating as smoothly as it typically would. And then we're going to be having it in Sagittarius, which it doesn't always love being in because it sort of conflates things. It, can tell white lies, it can exaggerate, it cannot be always expressing what is like the whole truth. It can be a little bit deceptive or a little bit clouded or a little bit like projecting of one's emotions or beliefs and not on objective truth. And then having it conjunct Mars is going to be having people sort of like fighting for things that they believe in or what they believe the truth to be, even if that truth isn't exactly accurate or true on paper, because Mars is this fighting spirit of like sticking up for what we believe in, fighting for our beliefs, defending ourselves, going after our desires, being independent, being impulsive, expressing our passion for something, and then having that in a conjunction to Mercury, which isn't placed in the most comfortable or like efficient spot right now, is people like fighting for something that isn't even true, or arguing over something that doesn't even make sense, or sort of losing the plot of what they are communicating or believing in or investing in. And having that in your 5th house, again, it's romantic, it's creative, it has to do with children, it has to do with pregnancy, it has to do with what's making you happy. So you might be fighting for something that you really want, or defending yourself of your romantic partner or of your desire to have children, or even with your children. And it's like there's something that is missing. There's a lack of clarity, or something isn't entirely adding up here. And it's also going to be in a square to Neptune in your 9th house. So again, this is traveling, faith, philosophy, education. There can be like a confliction around the decisions of what you want or what you don't want, and that conflicting with your belief system or your faith on something, a decision in regards to love, sex, romance, creativity, things that make you happy, like being in disagreement with like your larger philosophy on life in some way, or your belief system, or maybe who you're dating is having this sort of deception or head to head with like you getting in the way of school or education or your opportunities on a larger level. Very interesting. You want to trust your intuition with this one. I would just say in general, like tread lightly. And on this day, I would not fight with anybody over defending something or passionately expressing yourself over something, especially if you kind of know you don't have the whole picture yet or all the details yet. Like I said here, 1 foot in, 1 foot out when it comes to decisions with love, sex, creativity, children, joy, big goals, opportunities, beliefs, education, freedom. If this isn't something where you're fighting or arguing, there just might be a like, do I do this or do I do this? An indecision, a sort of misplaced energy, or the inability to execute despite wanting to sort of energy between these two areas of the chart. On the 29th, Venus is going to enter your 6th house now of love, sex, romance, creativity, joy, pleasure. It's going to enter your 5th house. So we had Mercury come here, we had the Sun come here, and now Venus is entering the party as it heads into Sagittarius. So this is going to be bringing a lot of ease, a lot of pleasure, a lot of feel-good energy to that area of the chart. We had Venus going through your 4th house of home, family, living situation. That is all set, and now it's entering your 5th house of I get to have some fun, I get to enjoy myself, I get to do what I want now, and now indulge in some pleasure, indulge in some things that feel good to me. So I think that because the 5th house is getting activated a lot this month, and then Venus at the end of the year, at the end of the month, is going to kick off the pleasurable aspect of it. It's like we're talking about these themes, we're talking about a romantic partner, we're talking about something that we want, and then the Sun coming there in the middle of the month or so is bringing the attention to it. It's like now we're really focused on this area, and then Venus is like bringing the gifts, bringing the pleasure, bringing the things that feel good to this area of the chart. Very interesting. And then on the 31st, on the last day of the year, Jupiter is going to be stationing direct in your 10th house of your career, your public image, your accomplishments. So this is really good for Leo risings because it's saying that Jupiter is the planet of good luck, good fortune, windfalls of success, expansion. It's been here for 6 months. It's going to have about another like 5 or 6 months or so into May 2024 of expanding and bringing opportunity and bringing growth to your career sector. This has been retrograde, I'm pretty sure, since September 4th. 4th. So if there's been any like lack of progress or confusion or overindulgence or excess in a way that isn't productive when it comes to your career and your public image and your reputation, it will assume or resume regularly scheduled programming again and start to give you more opportunities and give you that growth. You could be traveling for work. There could be something where you get a big opportunity that comes on your path, or you're learning something new, you're going back to school, you're understanding something better. That's to do with like your bigger goals and the way that you're asserting yourself in the public eye. The interesting thing about Jupiter stationing direct is it's going to station direct at 5 degrees, which was the same degree that the lunar eclipse in Taurus was at on October 28th. So right around Halloween, we had a full moon lunar eclipse in your 10th house, and this was a major ending to something that began back in late 2021. So I want you to think back to like December of 2021 and what chapter started to begin in regards to your career, your public image, your reputation, your sense of independence, standing up on your own 2 feet, what people can see about you in a public way. This stationing of Jupiter at 5 degrees is basically saying that whatever you ended around the eclipse, around October 28th, whatever closed out that 2-year cycle, whatever you came to accept or came full circle, is now being fulfilled with this new opportunity or this new growth, this new expansion. It's new uncharted territory and opportunities that hadn't been available to us prior, or is maybe a second chance at an opportunity, or is maybe another go around or another chance to revisit something that was maybe available to us earlier this year, spring, summer, but that we didn't get to fully jump on, or we weren't fully prepared for, or we weren't well equipped for or qualified for, and that maybe being in the same form or in a new form available to us. There's more fertile ground to grow something new after closing out that cycle. So it's an intense month. I'm excited for everybody. I think Leo risings are having a good month with this. It really just looks like there could be some frustrations with the very, day-to-day details, work, health, routine. That can be the most annoying. I would say that sometimes Mercury retrogrades in those areas of the chart, like I'm having it in my 3rd house, which is like everyday things, can be the most annoying because it's just like things that are typically easy get a little bit more complicated. But I think that it has more to do with your efforts and your energetic investments and the give and take of like romantic endeavors or what you want for yourself and how other people might not be entirely happy with that. But everything else looks like it's going very smoothly for you. I think this is going to be an exciting month. There's definitely some romance on the table as well. If you have any questions or you want to let me know what you're going through, please do not hesitate to comment below. I'm going to try to do these more every month as we get into 2024. If you want to book a personal reading or you just want anything else in regards to what else you can get from me, everything that you need is going to be in the bio, in the description in my bio. You can go to KMONEY.biz, and I hope that this helped you. If you guys have any questions, drop them below. Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you soon.